Alright, hello. So today I'm going to show you how to make a Vietnamese soup called pho. Okay, so to get started, you're going to need some beef oxtail. Got this at the Asian food market. You're going to need an onion, cinnamon sticks, whole cloves, dried star anise seed. I actually have no idea what it's called in English, but in Chinese it's called bajiao. Then you have rock sugar. In Chinese it's called bingtang. You're going to need some fish sauce. You're going to need ginger, and that's all you're going to need to make the soup part. Okay, so to start, we should boil up some water because we're going to use this to cook the beef for a little bit. It's just to clean out everything. Okay, so it looks like our water is done boiling. Alright, so one thing you can do to avoid being splashed, because this is really hot, is take a strainer and put the beef on top of the strainer and then let it go gently into the pot. Let's begin by chopping up our ingredients. I'm going to take this ginger, about that big. Okay, next thing you're going to chop up is the onion. Okay, so now I'm going to slice the toppings part. Okay, so now that we have our onions, what we should do is we should put them in a bowl of water, and we should let it sit there for a while. Okay, so once you have sliced up your onions and your ginger, you want to get a slow cooker. Just put everything inside. Alright, so then you're going to need a cinnamon stick. You're going to need the whole cloves, which they look like this. They're very small. You need about 5 of those. You're going to need the rock sugar, or what are they called? I forgot what they're called. The rock sugars, yeah. You're going to need to put a little bit of those things in. Maybe a little more. Yeah. Then you're going to put in the aniseed. They look like this. Yeah, these are things that are called bajiao. So, those things. And that's about what you need here. And lastly, you're going to need the fish sauce. Okay, so go ahead and just dump this in here. That's about enough. Okay, so after about 15 minutes, the beef should be ready. Basically, it just cooks away all the impurities and everything should be fine. Go ahead and scoop the beef out and put it into the slow cooker. Okay, so once we have all the beef in here, what we're going to do is add some water. Add some more water. Okay, so let's put our lid on and we're going to turn this up to high. And it's going to sit here for about 6-7 hours. So we're going to make our toppings now while we wait for our soup to cook. You're going to need some scallions or green onions. You're going to want some cilantro. In Chinese it's called shantai. And you can also have some bean sprouts and some Vietnamese bay leaves. But I don't have those, I don't really like those. Okay, so we're going to start by cutting off the tips where the root is to the cilantro, because this part is actually usually very dirty. Then we're going to slice the cilantro in half, and we're going to get a strainer, and we're going to have to wash this. This won't be cooked with the soup, so you're going to want to wash it thoroughly, get all the dirt off. So it's very easy to wash the cilantro. All you gotta do is just mix it up and make sure all the dirt comes out. As you can see. Ta-da! Little specks of dirt. Dump out all the dirty water. And your cilantro should be cleaned. Okay, so now let's slice our cilantro. You can slice them as big or small as you like them. And let's put them in the bowl that we had our onions before. Okay, so next we're going to cut the scallions. You only really need the tips of the scallions, the green parts, so you can save the head for something else. Again, you can cut them as small or as large as you want them. I like them smaller, so I cut them smaller. Alright. And then you can put them into the bowl again that you had before. Put the bowl of cilantro, scallions, and onions in the fridge because, well, it's going to be another 7 hours before the soup is ready. So, as you have noticed, I didn't tell you how much of each ingredient to put in. There's a very specific reason why I did that, is because there's no such thing as a perfect recipe. Because unless you have the exact same kitchen, the exact same equipment, the exact same ingredients, yours isn't going to taste exactly like mine. So you really have to do your own experimenting. So what I will tell you is how much to add to get what you want. You can obviously add less or more beef. If you add more beef, obviously the soup is going to take stronger. So it depends. If you like the flavor of beef, add more beef. I just put in the whole packet because, well, it's a whole packet. What am I going to do with like one chunk of beef later? And okay, so then the rock sugar makes it sweet. It's not like it's because it's rock sugar. It has almost like this honey taste to it. So it's not like plain white sugar or what is that called? Granite sugar. So it doesn't taste just like that. It tastes more like candy. And yeah, so that's the sugar. Again, you can always put less sugar and then put in more sugar when you need it. The fish sauce is what gives it its salty flavor. You can always add more salt in later if you want it to be saltier. The badiao, what are those things called? The aniseeds, yes. The aniseeds give it that aroma that you smell. Like when it's cooking, you can smell it. It's like, it smells really good. Yeah, that's that smell. The whole cloves, I have no idea what flavor they bring to the soup. Sorry. But I put it in just because the recipe said so, you know? So that's what I do. And the cinnamon stick is very important. You can't really taste the cinnamon, but when you don't put it in, it does taste a little bit different. And it's not like the cinnamon doesn't make it any sweeter, but it also gives it like a certain smell. And because it's cooked with everything else, it kind of hides it, but it's still there. And lastly, the cilantro and onions that we put for the toppings, those are actually still like give a distinct smell to it when you like sniff the soup and when you drink it. But again, that's up to you. If you like those things, then you put them in. If you don't, then you don't. If you like bean sprouts, you put in bean sprouts. As you can see here, the soup is nicely cooking. It is actually very hot. You don't really want to be touching it. Even though it doesn't look like it's boiling, it has reached boiling temperature. There's a strange thing with physics or chemistry where if there's no actual like things for the water to come out, it won't boil or something like that. Or like, yeah, I don't know what it is. But anyways, what you want to do now, depending on your slow cooker, because with mine, if you don't open it up a little bit, it will actually overflow and all the soup will just go all over the place and it's not very good. So what I did is I took a toothpick and I broke it in half, so I'm going to basically be putting it in like that. Hold on while I do that. Ta-da! Look, that was like magic. So anyways, what this allows is that it allows all the air pressure that's building up to come out, and but it's really just a small crevice right there, so you can't even really see it. So all the heat is still in there. Alright, so after about 5.5 hours, we have our soup. It is more or less done right now. You can see it's a little bubbly inside. If I had not put the toothpick there, all of that water would have been coming out right now. Well, not all of it, but a good amount of it. We need to add in a few more flavors. Okay, so the last thing we're going to add in is some MSG. I know some Americans are very adverse to MSG, because I don't really know why. It tastes pretty good. It's just, what is it? I think it's like 1 part sugar, 2 parts salt, something like that, or it's made something from that. But, so yeah, I'm going to put in some MSG. And I'm gonna taste it. And if it tastes good, then I'm gonna get ready. If it's not salty enough, I have some salt. And if it's not enough sugar, I have some sugar over there as well. Very delicious. Alright, so it does need a little more salt, because when you drink it, it shouldn't be like, this is really good, I want more. It should actually be too salty, or you'd be like, it's a little too salty. Why? Because this soup will be cooked with noodles, and those noodles will actually absorb a lot of the salt, or the salty flavor. So you're going to want to add in some salt until when you drink it, you're like, this is too salty. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, so the last thing we gotta do is prepare the beef. Again, you can use any beef you want. This beef is, what is this beef called? This is ribeye, which is probably too high of quality for this type of soup, but hey, you know what? High quality soup, very good. You can slice it as thin or as thick as you would like. This beef has already been cooked. You can use raw beef. If you do use raw beef, make sure to cut it very thin so that the soup instantly cooks it. If you go to the restaurants, that's what they have. They have very, very thinly sliced beef, and it cooks instantly. It looks like they give you a lot of meat, but it's actually very little because they slice it so thin, and you really don't get too much meat out of it. One thing you can do, if your meat is raw, you can put it in the freezer for about 10 minutes and your meat will get hard and it'll be very easy to slice. Okay, so now it's time to make our noodles. You can buy the noodles. It's called bang pho toi. I don't really know what it's called actually. But fresh rice stick noodle. That's what you want. Start up with your pot of water. You want to bring it to a boil before you put your noodles in. Okay, so now that our water's come to a boil, open up our noodles. Let's just put it all in. These noodles that I got were already cooked, and the instructions on the back literally say, put it in boiling water for approximately 5 to 10 seconds. If you want your noodles to be a little bit softer, you can put it in for a little bit longer. So I'm going to put it in, use my handy dandy chopsticks, and loosen them up a little bit. They are a little tight right now. Okay. So as you see, we put them in, and this one part's a little stiff, so we just got to loosen that up a little bit. And get it cooked. Well, the noodles are already cooked. So it's been more than 5 to 10 seconds. I don't like the instructions on the back of the packet, but I'm going to cook it for a little longer because I like mine a little softer, and so does my little sister. Okay, so now get some big bowls. Yes, big bowls are good because you can always put less soup in a big bowl, and you can't put more soup in a small bowl. So logical. Right? I am very logical. Okay, so once you have your noodles in your bowl, take your other bowl of cilantro and onions and apply as much cilantro/onions as you would like. Then add in the beef that you would like. Then bring it over here to our nice bowl of soup. Very delicious.